Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on a Saturday. How you guys doing? This is Thoughts If It Were You by Neo Gentrics. Food for thought. We're still going to continue the moral series, but we have a new segment that we started yesterday with essential skills. Basically, I'm going to cover things that people should already have known or should know, both in life and otherwise. Topics will range between personal skills, interpersonal skills, leadership skills, learning skills, presentation skills, even your writing skills, numerical skills, and parenting skills. Yes, you heard me right. I said parenting skills. But we will finish the moral series also. So we're going to do both of these simultaneously, going back and forth, giving you guys a break between the topics that I cover. Now, granted, there are a lot of morals left to cover. Matter of fact, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them remaining. So, picking up where I left off with the moral series, I'm going to cover honesty, or rather, in its other form, truthfulness. Honesty is basically being truthful and sincere. While it's not very hard to figure out, especially from its definition being the quality of being honest, not the other one where it basically is a European plant with purple or white flowers and a round, flat, translucent seed pod that's used for indoor flower arrangements. That has something to do with something else. That has nothing to do with being honest. It is one of the more acquitted traits that people nowadays don't have. Okay? Society, especially Western society, places a high value on truth. Truth is the foundation for a fair and just society. In court, we require witnesses to swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because only that way can justice be delivered and served properly. However, most modern religions also have something to say on that matter, and it's clear that they place a high value on the principle of truthfulness as well. But is truthfulness an outdated principle in modern times, or does it still have value? These are things people have to consider. As they put it in the Buddha religion, three things cannot be hidden. Three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Or, as Jesus Christ put it, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Whichever one of these you believe, that's up to you. However, they both stress the same point. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say this. There are two types of truth, okay? There are two aspects of truthfulness: being true to yourself and being true to others. The two are not quite the same, although they are closely linked. Shakespeare, for example, suggested that someone who was true to themselves was unlikely to be false to others. Or as he said it, or as William Shakespeare originally quoted it, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as night today, that thou canst not then be false to any man. And while I stumble saying that every time, keep in mind Shakespeare is not easy to read, let alone quote. I just don't have the heart for it. So, truthful people will do the following. First thing, understand themselves and know their own strengths and weaknesses. They will not delude themselves about their successes or failures. 2, present themselves in a way that show who they really are. The reputation that they have will be founded on what they are, and whether in public or in private, they will be the same regardless. 3, meet any commitments or promises they make. And 4, be accurate in their description of themselves or others, so that they don't mislead others. The importance of truth is one of the things that I want to go ahead and cover too. Truth matters, both to us as individuals and the society as a whole. As individuals, being truthful means that we can grow and mature learning from our mistakes, whereas for society, truthfulness makes social bonds, and lying and hypocrisy, well, they break them. If you doubt this, Consider what happens when you find out that someone has lied to you. You feel less inclined to trust them next time, and also less inclined to trust other people more generally. Is it ever right not to tell the truth? This is a question that a lot of people must consider. As Hunter S. Thompson once said, "If I had written all the truth I knew from the past 10 years, about 600 people, including me, would be rotten in prison cells from Rio to Seattle today." Absolute truth is a very rare and dangerous commodity in the context of professional journalism as well. So, while it's not always a good thing to tell the truth, depending on where you work or live, it is actually a better habit to have than to not tell the truth at all. There are two possible ways not to tell the truth: not to provide any information and to provide false information. First, you do not need to tell everyone everything. Excessive sharing of personal information is not welcome, even if it is the truth. Context is all important, and you have to consider whether people need or want to know. Sometimes it's better not to say anything. You also need to be able to remain silent if someone has confided in you and asked you not to share the information further. Under these circumstances, it is therefore appropriate not to tell all the truth. However, is it right to provide false information or lie? Is the right answer to the question, "Does my bum look big in this?" ever yes? It's a typical question that a lot of people ask. Well, maybe in the changing room before this is bought, but maybe not. The truthful person will think very carefully about the right answer to that question. Truthfulness is important, but so is not hurting others' feelings as well. Truthfulness and tact must go hand in hand, otherwise the truth may be unacceptable to those who hear it. Something just to keep in mind. And consider a governmental agent, okay? They may need to lie or pretend to be something that they are not for the sake of the greater good, but they may still be true to themselves if they believe in the importance of the greater good in the first place. At what point does the truth become more important, though? This is a matter of personal conscience, okay? Oscar Wilde said, "The truth is rarely pure and never simple." One of the things that I do is that I give people the option when I tell them stuff or get ready to tell them stuff. You have two options. I could tell you what you want to hear, or I could tell you what you need to hear. But keep in mind that if I tell you what you need to hear, you may not like me anymore, but I'm okay with that. More often than not, a lot of people automatically want the latter. They would rather hear what they want to hear and be at peace, or at least that's what they think, than hear the truth because they know the truth hurts. So, before we move on to the next section for this episode, I want you to think about this. If I had to tell you something that you needed to know, or you had to tell somebody something that they need to know, wouldn't you at least want to give them the option to pick what they wanted to hear? At least then the other person would know whether or not they're being lied to. This is a practice that I use. It may not work for everybody, but it does work for me. So with that, the question is, would you like to hear what you want to hear? Or would you like to hear what you need to hear? Because now they have the option to decide whether or not they want to hear the truth or not. And it doesn't fall on you if their feelings are hurt. Picking up where we left off. So there are some circumstances in which lying may be acceptable and necessary. It is, however, never acceptable to lie in order to make yourself look better or to avoid trouble that you have been brought on yourself. If you lie about yourself or to avoid trouble and people find out, they are unlikely to trust you ever again. This brings about the next point. You need to find the balance. As with many other qualities, you need to find the balance in truthfulness, neither overplaying nor underplaying either your virtues or your weaknesses. It is as bad to pretend that you are less good at something than you are, as to exaggerate about your abilities completely. Teaching your children about truthfulness, it can be hard, but you want them to understand that it's important to tell the truth. But if they tell you that they drew on the wall, you're going to be quite cross, aren't you? There is, therefore, a serious incentive to lie. Very, very big incentive to lie. Say that it was their sibling or a visitor. You may therefore need to think about their incentives to confess, whether or not they want to, and make sure that they understand the value that you put on telling the truth. You will need to ensure that you demonstrate that, not just say it, by rewarding truth-telling in some way. Even if you still need to punish the original misdeed, find a way to do it in a way where it's more productive. I give you an example. Jo and her children had been helping to sort the donation cupboards at the school. Okay, there were some small toys there which the children really, really liked. Jo told them to leave the toys alone because they belonged to the school. On the way home, Jo realized that both children had taken something from the box. She asked if they had done it. Well, of course, both children denied it. Not wishing to give them the wrong incentive, Jo thought carefully and then said, and I quote, "If I find that you have taken something, I will be cross. But if you lie to me and then I find out that you have lied, I will be really, really cross. Did you take something?" Of course, now, both the children confessed that they had done so, and Jo explained that was stealing. But because they had told her the truth, she gave them a choice. They could either return the toys that they had taken, or they could replace each one with another one from home. Now, which one do you think the children did? Just the last word here on the specific topic here on honesty and truthfulness. It is important to live and act in line with your values. Being truthful to yourself matters because you cannot live in line with your values if you are pretending to yourself that you are something else. Truthfulness allows you to be honest about yourself and to others, and to live a life which reflects that. But if you're not able to do so, and you're living what they call an immoral life, then, well, I have no idea what to tell you. As these values will continue to follow you through life, into your profession and into your career. I'm pretty sure you enjoy your promotions and you enjoy making money, but if you don't have a truthful type of personality, regardless of what the company may make you do, then earning that promotion or being that high up in the company won't mean anything in the long run. Again, thank you for listening. This has been Thoughts If It Were You by Neo Gentrics, Moral Series, Food for Thought. And today's topic was honesty and truthfulness. We'll pick this back up with the next moral or possibly another essential skill next time.